The Israelites rejected the rulership of God. They had their reasons, and one of the reasons was that the children of Samuel were not following in the footsteps of their father. They were wayward, so immoral. So it was a very nice reason. Then the second reason was that they wanted to be like other nations. They were looking up to other nations. They thought that their defeat in the battlefield by the Philistines was because they didn't have a king, but the Philistines had a king. So they blamed their inadequacy on not having a king. They didn't ask the right question. What was the right question? Why was it that God was not with us during the battle in the field? Because it was for the sake of their immoral living. They didn't live well. They didn't obey the stipulations of the covenant. They didn't obey the laws of God. They were unfaithful to the commandments of God. And that was why God abandoned them with their Ark of the Covenant in the battlefield. And the Philistines defeated them. But they dodged that particular aspect of their irresponsibility and blamed it on the fact that they didn't have a king. So that was their problem, irresponsibility. They divested themselves of all blames. And even that they looked within themselves and recognized, acknowledged their sinfulness and pleaded for mercy before God, God would have come to their aid. But they refused and blamed it on God, because to ask for a king by them was another way of rejecting God and blaming God for their woes. And because of that, God said to Samuel, give them what they are asking for. They have not rejected you, rather they have rejected me. By implication, they were rejecting God. God was not enough for them to live among the peoples. And any person God is not enough for, there's nothing that can be enough for that person. And Samuel revealed to them the consequences of having a king. Yet, they insisted on having a king. What Samuel told them actually happened to them. You know, today, we blame a lot of things for our irresponsibilities. For instance, you see a lot of people, they change their surnames thinking that their surnames are their problems. They are going to them, the surname carries kind of cost. They will change that surname, yet they are still where they are. It's not about surname. The surname has nothing to do with their problem. Then you see some, they will change their job. You see many people, they will change job. Every day they will change job. They will look for this one, they will do this. But you look at them, you see that the changing of job is not the problem. Changing of business is not the problem. The problem is that they lack work ethics. They lack commitment to work. They are irresponsible. Give them any work, they can't do it. Some people that have engaged in divorce or experienced divorce in their marriages, the reason was that they could not manage a family. The woman could not respect the husband, and on the part of the man, the husband could not love the woman and obey the instructions and commandments in marriage. So they will now divorce. You see this person, he or she will go to another person, the same thing, the same issue going on. They have not worked in their behavior. Now we come to our own state of life. As a priest, you see many priests clamoring for marriage, that the church should remove celibacy. They should allow the priest to marry. Because of celibacy, priests are wayward, fornicators, adulterers, priests, some of them have children, all those things. But the problem is not celibacy. The problem is lack of self-control and of faithfulness to promises and vows made. Get that man or that priest to get married today. Tomorrow, you will see him changing another woman. He will become polygamous. Look at other pastors and priests that are married. You think that they are so much faithful to their wife. Any man that cannot control himself with one woman. If you lack that self-control, there's no way you will live in a monogamous family. So the problem is not celibacy. The problem is lack of self-control. Let the church legislate today that priests should marry. Yes, many priests will marry, but marriage will not solve their problem because they already lack that self-control. That is the issue. In today's world, especially in this part of the world, you see many youths going back to paganism, blaming the church for their woes, for their problems. But the church is not their problem. Their problem is their irresponsibility. Come to look at it. You see that even those ones that are clamoring to go back to paganism, look at their lives. There is an emptiness. They will tell you that the church has not done anything for us. But what exactly do you want the church to do for you than the general charity that she does? Church builds schools, builds hospitals, does a lot of charities that they don't come out to mention. Yet, you say that church has not come to you to do something for you. Instead of blaming the government for its own failure, because you pay tax to the government, but the government is not giving back. Instead of blaming your senator, blaming your governor, blaming the president, fighting for your rights and obligations, you shift all the blames to the church, saying that God is the problem. Now, after the church being a problem, you left the church. As for our youth, you left the church. Now, have you built that mansion since you went back to paganism? Have you built it? Have you produced the plane? You said that the church is their problem, that the church holds you down not to build the plane. Have you built it now that you no longer go to church? How many persons have you trained? How many persons have you given more? Done charity to? Since you said that church is their problem. Now the church has left you. You have left the church. What is their problem now? Have you gone more than where you are now? The church is my problem. How is the church your problem? Your problem is irresponsibility, lack of commitment. You are so ignorant, arrogant, and stupid. The sons of Samuel were wayward. That was understandable. They needed another person. But as far as that it was God that placed those children there to represent their family, they had no right to reject them. It was God that established them. No matter how they behave, it would be God that would reject them, not you people. So if priests are misbehaving, for instance, you have no right to reject whom God has appointed. It's left for God to reject. So you see many people pushing blames because they have not changed their thinking, you have not changed their mind, you have not acknowledged their faults. You are lagging behind. There is no way you will move forward. The Israelites witnessed it. They couldn't take responsibility for their actions. They blamed it on God. So let us understand that some things that we blame are not even our fault. And God cannot be our problem. Let us always take responsibility of our actions and stop pushing it on another person. May God help us bless His way in our house and our